Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with an esteemed guest, Himanshu, who has spent the past 10 years working at an investment bank, a top investment bank to say the least, as a software engineer. And I'm so excited to talk about his career, where he's come from. I hope this video will help anyone who's thinking about either moving from India to the US, thinking about joining an investment bank, what's it like to work on the software side. We're gonna hit all those questions today. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Martha, for inviting me.
Great, so let's dive right in. Tell us about yourself, your background. I would love to hear about your college major and how the decision came to join an investment bank in the first place.
So I come from this very city near New Delhi called Noida. I did my schooling in APJ School Noida and then a few years in Delhi Public School Archipelago. I graduated as a production and industrial major from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, back in 2011. So I did an internship in one of the core companies and I started in a few placements for the core companies, and that's when I realized it's not my cup of tea. We had this investment bank coming over asking us for aptitude questions, some software question, and that's when I realized this is something I can do. They were also sending us to US for training. So the first few things that I really focused on when I joined the company was giving my 120%. Basically, the idea was to show that I can be a valuable member of the team and contribute accordingly.
So it sounds like from the beginning you were interested in coming to the US, or at least it was a faint thought in your head. How did it finally solidify, and how did you make the transition to come to the US?
So as I was telling earlier, right, I came to the US in 2011 for my training, and that's when I made it clear in my head that I want to move here permanently. Back in 2015, I got this opportunity to come to the US for a short-term assignment. That's when I actually met one of my mentors. I just talked about, what is the best way, how can I move to the US and things like that. And that's when he pointed out maybe you should just talk to your colleagues, check what they think about it. You have been doing good at firm, obviously, they're sending you here. Just have a casual chat, see what their viewpoint is and take it from there. And that advice really helped, right? I reached out to my manager, I asked her what I can do to come here. I actually talked to my MD as well the day before leaving. I mean, it all went well, but somewhere down the line, the MD decided to leave. Obviously, it was heartbreaking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think I had to then convince the new folks that I really want to move. It all panned out well in the second half of 2016,
Wow.
but considering the visas and all the approvals and things like that, it eventually took another 1 year for me for the move to materialize and me to move to the US.
Wow, so how many years so far? That was 4 years ago that you came, or 5?
It was 4 years ago, yes. But the process took, I decided in 2011 that I really want to move. I worked towards it. It did take me 6 years for the move to actually materialize.
Wow. That's really incredible because that takes so much work, and even though you had already had your heart set on it, it took you another 2 years after that to even get it done. So in the alternate reality where you had stayed in India, where would you be? What would your life look like now if you had stayed and never gone to America? What do you think?
This is a good one. Let me think. So I feel on a personal front, I would be married. Maybe I would have 1 or 2 kids running around. Professionally, I would have been managing teams, given that I was in a very senior position when I left the team. I think I would be closer to family socially, I'd be closer to friends. So I would have been a different person altogether. After I moved to the US, I think I was living alone, so obviously I had to learn a lot of life skills, something that you never realize when you are in India. So maybe I would have never, learned how to cook, how to do my chores, so on and so forth.
Oh wow. So it sounds like there was a lot of perks that you left behind in India, a lot of really important ones.
Yeah, I think it's all part of the big game. If you see, if I think of it, it's all part of the big picture. There are obviously some positives of moving here. You have to sacrifice something if you're leaving everything behind and coming here.
Wow. Now that you are living here and you can directly compare within the same company what it's like to work in India and what it's like to work in the US, what is very different about the two cultures and the two lifestyles? What really stands out to you, both professionally or maybe in how people even live life?
So back in India, I mean, your day would start around 9 a.m. You would take 1.5 hours to reach office. You'll get stuck in traffic. You will spend a lot of time at work. You will have team lunches. You'll get to know your colleague both personally and professionally. It was a little bit laid back because you would the issues that would come were not very critical. You will have like full day to resolve them.
I see.
In the US, your day starts early, your day ends early. You get a lot of time for yourself, which is obviously great. You don't have team lunches, so to speak, but you do have a once a week drinks, which is a different kind of a networking that you get out of your colleagues. I think the issue that if they ever come, it's more time sensitive, so you need to ensure they're resolved in a timely manner, quickly manner. You're always on your toes. I mean, this does not mean that we weren't on our toes back in Bangalore, but it was a different volume. You still had some breathing space, which is missing here.
So more demanding clients, more fast turnaround required.
Exactly. And I think given that you were working remotely, right, it was always difficult to talk to people. I know this argument is not very valid now given that you have Zoom.
Everything is remote, COVID times. Yeah.
But it was a different ballgame altogether.
Very interesting. And so what has been the best part about being in the US specifically, aside from the fact that you left behind your family, all your loved ones, and all of that? What has been like the most amazing thing that you've enjoyed about living first in New Jersey and now in New York City?
So I think I have really enjoyed the amount of time I get for myself. I could exercise daily, I could go for soccer daily. I mean, I used to go pre-COVID, I used to go 2 or 3 times a week. I was part of various leagues. I can actually go and dance for my dance. I mean, I always wanted to do
He does bank bhangra.
Yes. So I wanted to do all these things in India, in Bangalore, but I never got the time because you're always stuck in either traffic or work. Here you are stuck at work, but you still have a lot of time to do all these things. I think pre-COVID, I used to do all these things. I really enjoyed. That was one thing I really enjoyed. And obviously, right after I moved to New York, I was even more closer to my mentor. So that was also one thing I did.
Oh my God! This lawnmower. I hope it doesn't come into the frame. I'll be like, oh.
Okay, I think we have to. So the other thing that I really liked is you can hang out with your friends on weekdays, something that obviously was impossible in India given the timings. And that is the other thing, like you can just have a social life, to be very honest, which was restricted to 2 weekends earlier. And I think one other thing is I'm now like close to my mentor, same city, so it's very easy to just reach out to him, ask for advice. So that obviously has helped me both personally and professionally. So
Himanshu in his life in New York City has done 2 or 3 soccer leagues, and I've seen him perform bhangra at like the French Institute, I think there was, right? I mean, you've really done so much, you're so active. One thing you were telling me earlier is that when you're working in the office, you'd have to work until 10, 11 p.m. and that was just standard, and that's part of that. I don't have any time on the weekdays because I am just at work the whole time.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people had managed to a lot of people could manage their time better. People with family, with kids, they would probably time it better in the sense that they would leave early but log in from home. Something that I wasn't willing to do. Once I would go home, I would just want to be off work. So that's why I think there was this difference.
It sounds very tough, and I'm so glad to hear that at least in New York City you were able to get off maybe not at 6, but maybe at 7 or 8 and not at 11. It makes a big difference in life.
Yeah.
Having done this transition and this big move, what advice do you have for people who are in India or in other parts of the world who are looking to come to the US, either transfer within their company or look for opportunities here? What advice do you have to give from your experience?
I believe one thing I would really want to tell people is it's a marathon and not a sprint. You may want something, you may want to relocate to the US 2 months, 6 months, 1 year down the line. It may not happen. It might take 5 to 10 years, but if you are committed, dedicated, and focused on your task and on your goals, I can assure you it will happen. Like I've seen it myself. It took me 6 years to get the move materialized. there were times when I was down, I was thinking whether it will happen or not, but I stick with it and it eventually happened. You have to be patient, you have to be committed to your goals, and it will happen.
Wow, and it sounds like you also have to know that you really want this because you uproot so much and you really start over and build that network all over again. You did know some people already in New York City, but other people might come and they might not even know anyone, right? So I think it is hard to rebuild no matter where you are. For those who don't know, Himanshu is also a CFA Level 3 candidate. For everyone who's already seen my videos on the CFA, tell us about why you decided to do the CFA in the first place, and were you ever thinking about transitioning from software engineering to the business side or to finance? Why did you end up taking the CFA from your seat?
So, I think there's a funny story around it. So one of my friends, he was actually doing a third level and he was interested in finance, and he just said, you are working on an investment bank, and you have all these, you use all these terms that you come to me for help, why don't you just give CFA? And that's how I registered for level 1. During level 1 I was studying concepts, and that's when I realized, oh, this is actually helpful. I can understand about equity, fixed income, the basic understanding that I really required on my day-to-day job. And I think that really helped me understand the concepts, have the right conversation with the business users and things like that. So that was the motivation behind level 1. Level 2 was again the same friend. He's like, level 2 is more numerical, you will enjoy it, you'll enjoy valuing a bond and fixed income and things like that, valuing a bond and equity share and so on and so forth. So okay, I signed up for it, gave it.
You're like, I can do this, therefore why don't I go ahead and pass it? Okay.
Exactly, right? And level 2 done, dusted. Level 3, again the same friend. It's like, you have given 2 levels, why not give the
Now it's the last one. Yeah.
Yes, so that's how it is. I think level 1 I really enjoyed too as well. I don't think third one is more about portfolio management, not really related to what I do, so or the business I support. So maybe just for the sake of it.
Interesting. And I guess the next question that I would have is, when you look back at all of your experiences and all of your career, is there anything that you would have done differently? Or to say it differently, what advice would you give to your past self?
So I think one mistake that I did, or I still do, is procrastinate a lot.
I still do. I did and I still do. Advice to current self: don't procrastinate.
Yeah, I think, so I would probably, if I can go back in time, I will tell myself to not procrastinate, doesn't help.
So your takeaway advice is don't procrastinate, get things done, and that's both academically and as it relates to work. Just go ahead and get it done, get it off your chest.
Yes.
All right, I think this next part I'm really excited about because I want to do a time capsule. So in the next 5 years, I want today's Himanshu to say, what do you want to get accomplished? What are your biggest goals?
Professionally, I really want to become a managing director in the next 5 years. I'm sort of working towards it. Personally, I really wanted to do 3 news: New Delhi, New York, New Zealand.
Visiting. Okay,
yes,
travel.
Visiting.
New Zealand's next. You've been to New Delhi.
I've been to New Delhi, I've been to New York. Now I really want to do New Zealand, and separately, I want to watch a Formula 1 race live in Monaco.
Oh,
I'm hoping that happens too, so who knows.
Maybe when we come out of COVID, although I don't even know if Monaco abides by any other rules than their own, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Himanshu, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you went ahead and got this interview done for me, and I hope that this can help anyone out there who is either looking to come to America or learn from your experiences. So thank you so much, and I would like to end this on a very fun rapid fire. What is your favorite restaurant in New York City, or your favorite dish?
So I really enjoy this place in West Village called Mustache Pizza. They have a very good hummus.
Mustache Pizza.
Yes,
okay.
Mustache Pizza.
Very nice.
They have a very good hummus appetizer, which I really like. And it's actually very close to the Friends apartment, if you know of.
Okay,
New York,
from the TV show Friends.
Yes, exactly.
Aside from food, the next thing I would ask you is, what's the favorite thing you've done in New York City?
So the activity that I really enjoy that I've done is obviously biking all the way from downtown to west side by the Hudson. It's a beautiful bike ride. Separately, I've shot a couple of dance videos as well on the streets of New York.
And they're on YouTube?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes. I think must do is obviously taking some selfies in Times Square. That everybody does. And, no.
Everyone does. Good, good, good. And then lastly, what is the best piece of advice that you have heard? Either given to you or you read and just been inspired.
So I think I'll actually take two. First one is last year I was watching this show called Ted Lasso. In the last episode, the guy goes about quotes Walt Whitman. It's be curious, not judgmental. That sort of gives you to reflect a lot on. And the second advice is actually related to this one, which is there are actually two kinds of people in the world. One that believe why him, why not me. They basically believe it's a zero-sum game. If they win, I lose, and they believe in jealousy. Then the second kind of people are who believe if they can do it, so can I, or what it takes for me to do the same thing, which basically believe that it's a non-zero-sum game, and they seek others' success for their own inspiration. And I think I would say that you have to choose which kind of person you are. You have to be curious and not judgmental.
And I really like that. I think we all want to be in that second category of we all can benefit from learning about each other's experiences and raising each other up and getting to a better place for everyone. So thank you so much again, and thank you for watching. Subscribe, like my channel, and all of your support, all of your comments. It means so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.